Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Castlevania Legacy of Darkness playthrough. It has been 2 weeks since our last meeting. Ted is no longer with us. Had to attend a wedding. Rest in peace. But, you know...
You think we'll ever see Ted again?
Anyway. So that was the boss of Castle Center, but there is another boss of Castle Center right after the Castle Center boss. It's kind of weird. It's like we get 2 bosses back to back and then 2 stages with no bosses. Well, I say 2 stages with no bosses, and the stage Reinhardt plays right after this is a mini boss rush. But, you know.
I say mini boss rush is actually a mini rush of small mooks, and actually more than small mooks, it's more just dust bunnies. It just keeps de-escalating.
Anyway, both characters fight the behemoth, but each character then gets a character-specific boss immediately right after that. Reinhardt gets Rosa. Why does Rosa fight Reinhardt? Because she's a vampire, therefore she is compelled to be evil. That is apparently a thing in this game. It's why the vampire status results in a game over, rather than you just playing as a vampire afterward. But, like, okay, so Rosa's like, okay, I'm a vampire in Dracula's army, now I need to fight. Of course, you know, she's not very willing to, so she's got death hovering over her shoulder the whole time. So, this battle on both campaigns is sort of a setup for the rivalry question mark that both characters have with one of Dracula's lieutenants. With Reinhardt, it's death. Reinhardt is the only one who fights death. With Carrie, it's a vampire named Actrice who never appears anywhere else in the series. But just picture Lady Demetresque. That's close enough.
Are they at least established earlier on in the story? Or are they just there for that boss fight?
Well, Rosa was established, but Death only appears here. Actrice would actually appear where Rosa's second cutscene happens, which makes the requirement for the sun card very strange, because the only effect the sun has on that particular room is the fact that the sun is shining through the ceiling for some reason, and like, Actrice doesn't interact with the sunlight the way Rosa does, so Carrie being forced to use a sun card there is just... I don't get it. It's not even really necessary, since she doesn't even go through the same level as Reinhardt does before that, so the sun card door was just there. I don't know.
You imagine. It's like, I know Castlevania is supposed to be a creature of chaos, but even Dracula gets caught off guard. I'm like, what is where? At some point, it's like, why is there a fucking sunroof like in this corner? I need to fight Belmont here.
In the room that you walk out of the underground stages from, why is there sunroof? I don't get it. Anyway, a recurring theme that I found when I was playing as Reinhardt is that he fucking steamrollers a lot of his boss fights, including, weirdly, the 3rd stage of Dracula. I've actually watched reviews that have been misled into thinking that the 3rd stage of Dracula is a cakewalk because Reinhardt has such an easy time with it. But, like, he can just do such absurd amounts of damage really quickly at close range. It's...
Damn, man. This, I don't know. I know it's like one of the first 3D Castlevanias, but Death sure as shit doesn't hit the same in 3D that he does in the 2D games.
This is actually one of the earliest games in which he talks a bunch. It was this and Symphony of the Night that got him talking, wasn't it? And I think he said a few lines in Rondo, maybe.
Mm-hmm. As in, ow, and stop that.
and next time it won't be so easy.
Basically.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Like, he spits in that opening prologue. Like he fucking ambushes Richter, tries to throw the scythe, does the skull thing, then he spits. And I was like, where, how, and why?
Well, you know what? That kind of makes sense with his characterization here, because he's like really like... He hates the Belmonts. He's disrespectful as shit toward the Belmonts in his dialogue. He only has a few lines where he does it, but like, I was wondering about that specific characterization because it appears like nowhere else in the series. But now that I'm thinking about it, if he was like, if he had like a little mannerism in Rondo where he was disrespecting Richter, that was probably where they got that trait from when they were writing him here. Just kind of disappears after this, though.
No, it seems as if he's just here to fulfill like the tradition.
So I got scared like nobody's business by the Medusa heads just suddenly spawning in 2 feet in front of me on that bridge. I was like...
I mean, would it be enough to one-shot you? It looked like you still had a little health to take a dink.
Well, it would have knocked me down, so I don't know if I necessarily would have taken more damage afterward. The thing was, when you reach the end of a level, you fully heal during the level transition. Like, you get to see your health bar fill up during the loading screen. But, like, I was like, at first I was going to run across this bridge and then just, like, you know, not worry about it. But then I remembered, oh, shit, this is where the Medusa heads spawn in. It's, like, one of the only times they kept the Medusa heads in Legacy of Darkness normal mode.
It's a very interesting way of the 3D handles them. Go ahead.
You actually get different enemies on that bridge when you run across it as Carrie. It's weird.
This guy gets up, gets immediately whipped, and falls down on his ass.
Now he's just running away like a coward.
Anyway, welcome to the Duel Tower, the first of Reinhardt's 2 character-exclusive stages. I say character-exclusive because Cornell gets to do all 4 of Carrie and Reinhardt's exclusive levels back-to-back toward the end of his campaign. I'm just going to be cutting past them because Carrie and Reinhardt already do them and there are no changes, but, like, this level was terrible in the original version. I could not fucking stand this level. And it wasn't
What was it about it?
It was a bunch of things, okay? The entire level was built around these 4 towers that you were progressively platforming your way up and fighting mini-bosses on your way through. And there are like vestiges of that old design in the way this level is designed to look, but it's completely different now. But the worst fucking part was the camera angle during all of these little mini boss fights. It glued itself to the bottom corner of wherever the arena was and just stayed exactly where it was during the entire fight. And you had to like... And remember that N64 and PlayStation 1 games play it at shitty resolutions. You had to fight the entire battle in an arena roughly this size with the camera stuck in the bottom corner, and it's just... It was fucking obnoxious, and it was really close to the fucking ground, too. Couldn't fucking judge shit with that camera.
Boy, that werewolf was carrying a lot of money on him.
Do you think it would have been too annoying, and I think I've asked this question earlier in the commentary, that you could just pick up items just by walking over them, instead of just having to individually pick them up yourself?
Well, they were obviously taking some inspiration from the Tomb Raider school of design with that, but to be honest, I think it adds a certain dimension to the gameplay to have to manually pick up the items. You see, I have to pause at the corner of this spinning thing to pick up that gem that I just ran past. I decided not to because that would have fucking gotten me hit. You have to make that and you had to make that kind of decision making a bunch in Tomb Raider too. There are items that are placed in the middle of traps that are deliberately there to get you to stop and die. You have to stop. You have to stop yourself from trying to pick up that tasty looking ammo cache, because if you do, the walls will close in too quickly and crush you. You know.
In 2000 BC, the Mayans placed these set of Uzis to lure in unsuspecting raiders.
I mean, you say that, but the Uzis were, like, in the first game, you found the Uzis on a secret invisible platform in the middle of an Egyptian ruin. No joke. It's just there, hovering in the air.
It's natural Egyptian Uzis.
I mean, they had holograms for their card games, so why not?
Yeah, and they use Beyblades to part the sea, so this is fine.
Anyway, the Duel Tower in Legacy of Darkness is a much more involved level than it used to be, with much more involved platforming. But one of the things it has that the original level didn't is mid-level save points. The original level forced you to go through like the entire fucking thing with no save points, which meant no checkpoints, which meant you had to do it all in one life. And fucking, I hate that level. I hate it so much. Oh, no, past me. Stop buying chicken. Stop buying roast chicken. The only item that's worthwhile is the healing kit. You know what the trick is with Reinhardt if you don't want to deal with his fucking boss fight is just wait until the end of the game. The last scroll that you come across in the penultimate level before, like, the Room of Clocks. And then just buy fucking 29,000 gold of healing kits, you know? Just nothing but healing kits. And don't go over 30,000 gold, and you'll have more healing than you'll ever need for the rest of the game. It's a good thing they brought these armored suits back. It would have been really embarrassing for them if they only got to show up once, and then you run past them during the Nitro puzzle.
Listen, they're really expensive, okay? I can only have so many.
What, Dracula's out of home decor budget?
No, it's more as if it costs, you know, it's in Final Fantasy VII, Fort Condor, some of the more elite squad members cost more gil, and you only have so much gil for that particular round. It's like, all right, 2 armored knights here, skeletons for everywhere else.
Anyway, I was surprised when I played through Rondo of Blood recently, and I realized, hey, this is the Minotaur boss. That fucking annoying jackass with the axe. He's a lot easier here, though.
Who, he doesn't have an axe?
Yeah. Well, he does the same stupid charging attack thing.
Yeah, it's also way more telegraphed here. Because there was just a couple of frames in the original Rondo of Blood.
Well, I mean, in the original Rondo of Blood, you had to jump over the goddamn thing. Here, you can just casually step to the side. Anyway, when this guy dies, he turns into, like, so much fucking roast beef.
I would put that over a searing hot flame first.
Well, I mean, he burned to death on the way, so maybe he handled it already.
That's only good for a nice sear. That I'm telling you, that meat is not cooked.
I probably should have saved my game before moving on.
If you hold down, I can do the duck walk. Cool, huh?
You actually can. Actually, don't sleep on sliding in this game, because I think this was a change they made to Legacy of Darkness's controls specifically. But you can attack while sliding. You can use sub-weapons while sliding. You can pull off some really cool acrobatic maneuvers while sliding. It's not something that the game, like, encourages you to do, but...
Just give me the image of Reinhardt just, like, slide dual-wielding holy water bottles like Leon and RE6. Just, like, aiming at armor knights and just constantly tossing holy water bottles.
Yeah. It's just, like, it's one of those mechanics that I really wish had gotten more time to cook, like, over a series of sequels, you know, so that, you know, they could make it smoother. Like, it's the kind of mechanic that would play out really goddamn nice in a modern-style 3D game. In fact, I think that was... Platinum made, like, a shooter game where you did a lot of sliding and shooting. What was it called? I forget what it was called.
You say Platinum?
Platinum, yes. Bayonetta Platinum.
Do you remember the time frame when it came out?
No. PS3, maybe. Sci-fi shooter game. Involved a lot of sliding.
Maybe Astral Chain?
No.
No, that's a Switch game.
I don't know. But, you know, it makes me think of that, only with whips instead of guns. But, it is what it is. And here I make a rookie mistake. I pick up the power-up, and then I go back to save. What you really should do is save and then pick up the power-up, so that the power-up is still there when you reload your save. But, I'm pretty sure I'm going to die at least one more time. So, that bit me.
And you established earlier that when you die, you lose all your whip upgrades. Does reload, if you saved and reload your save file, do you get it back? Or does that also reset your weapon to base?
Your save file maintains your, I think, your current level of health and your current hearts.
Okay.
It does not maintain your weapon upgrades or your sub-weapon upgrades, though. So...
Otherwise, why would you just not just save scum everywhere, I guess?
Yeah. I'm not even bothering to fight the enemies this time. Just Fucking
You are looking at a frustrated Lewis.
yes. In any case, one of the things that I learned by the time I got to my carry playthrough was that you should not pick up any item from a candle that you do not intend to keep. So if you're full up on crystals, leave the crystals there. If you have a full weapon upgrade or it's a sub-weapon that you don't want to use or that you already have 3 of, leave it there. Because if you leave the stuff where it was, it will be back the next time you break the candle.
Oh, okay. So there's a flag that said when you collect something for that general area.
Yes. Ow.
Okay. Well, that's pretty good. I'm actually pretty impressed that it manages to hold its own on tour for that long.
Anyway. Time for another
Reinhardt, why would you step into the red ouchie zone?
I actually was testing to see if it would damage me because I wasn't actually sure if it was.
So I know you were doing that. I'm asking why Reinhardt would consider that a good idea.
This is the fucking tiger mini boss from the first level. And the werewolf appears too, but it makes a lot more sense here because, you know, he picks you up and he throws you into the damage zone, you know? That's pretty neat. I like that design. It was
like how a change of environment makes a deceptively simple boss much more difficult. Ow.
In the
roast Belmont.
In the first level, he just kind of like picks you up and slams you into the ground, which is neat, I guess. But, you know, thankfully, the Minotaur boss supplied me with, you know, all the roast beef I'll need for the foreseeable future, which is hilarious.
This fight.
I like how the tiny ass Minotaur provided more roast beef than the giant behemoth, even though they're both bull demons. It's just like, you know.
But the behemoth was undead though.
Oh yeah, so I guess Reinhardt just had to spend a lot of time picking the meat apart to see, oh, is this bit
No,
edible?
actually, you
Is
just tossed that
edible?
fucking shit into the no, you tossed that shit into the garbage wholesale. That's rotten meat. You cannot salvage rotten meat. Throw it away.
Anyway, that was the dual tower. Now, you see that structure in the lava there, in the background? That ruined monstrosity? That was the original level. You had to climb that fucking thing. It was this big, wide-open lava space, and it was an excellent platforming challenge. You had to climb the tower, moving back and forth between the tower itself and the outer edges of the room. But the system just could not handle the level, and it was constantly slowing down.
So it was very laggy.
Yes, it kept slowing. There was so much slowdown in that goddamn level. It ran like absolute goddamn trash. So, you know, it had to go. They had to redesign it, unfortunately. But it was a fantastic level other than that. And
So correct me if I'm wrong. You said, so was the room changed or was it repurposed, or does it still exist? You just don't have access to it anymore.
I don't know if the original level is in the game's code or not, but all I know is that like they included a homage to their original level in the very first room of this version of the level.
Yeah.
And that amuses me. But like,
maybe it was always meant to be this instead of the open-ended stuff from what I'm hearing.
No, I don't think so. It was just a big, ambitious, open platforming level. Multi-tiered. Would have been very fun to play through if it had actually performed well, but...
Listen, Reinhardt, I know different universes, but if Mario fell into that lava, he'd be able to bounce up and still save himself.
I mean, it would kind of make sense to play through this level after the original level if, say, Cornell's campaign were a sequel. Sort of like Hector's and Curse of Darkness, but Cornell is a prequel, so the level was already destroyed. Eh. Oh, this is a good time to bring up one of the differences between the original game and Legacy of Darkness, now that I think about it. The original game had actually 3 special gems that you could find hidden in levels. I say hidden, but the first one was just like in a candle that was conspicuously placed slightly off to the side along the normal stage progression, so you were definitely going to find it. But the other 2 were exclusively in the second character-exclusive stages for Reinhardt and Carrie. And if you found them and got to the end of the game with them in your inventory, you unlocked their special costumes. Their original special costumes from Castlevania 64 are not in Legacy of Darkness, which is a shame because, although I've never seen Carrie's, Reinhardt's is a Simon Belmont costume. Like old school Simon Belmont, you know.
Conan the Barbarian, sort of shit, yeah.
Yeah, headband, cheesy leather armor, that shit. It was cool.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That just sounds like a lame-ass attempt in getting you to buy both versions of the game.
Well, it's not like they ever advertised the extra costumes. It's just weird that they didn't include them in this game. They included additional costumes that you could unlock, but the additional costumes are just the default costumes from the original. Because they redesigned Carrie and Reinhardt for Legacy of Darkness. Ow! I keep misjudging the stupid goddamn swinging blades. It's honestly a shame that I'm cutting out Cornell's run through this level, because I know what I'm doing by the time I get to him, so I just sort of blitz it. Skillful platforming and everything. Would have been very nice and impressive on the YouTubes, but you're not gonna see it.
I don't think anybody cares.
You're not gonna see it. At least I get to play through Carrie's stages with a degree of skill.
Castlevania 64 community in shambles. Watching this commentary.
All 2 of them.
64.
Gotcha.
65, including Lewis.
You know, I am legitimately a fan of this game now, though. I was honestly surprised as I played through the various campaigns how much I came to like this goddamn game.
Well, I'll be the first, as I'm sure you guys would agree, to say that, you know, you never, and I say this as a content creator, you never take a YouTuber's opinion as your own. If you are genuinely curious about something, you try it for yourself, form your own opinion. Maybe you end up liking something that they didn't like. Have you ever had like a moment of like for that yourself, like, and it even doesn't have to be like YouTubers, anything like that. I'm just talking about in general, where somebody said this sucked, you avoid it, play it yourself, or actually, oh no, they're wrong. Actually, this is actually pretty good.
Honestly, this is the first time that has happened to such an extreme degree as this. But, you know, the only major opinion piece on Castlevania 64 that I had ever seen before playing it myself was James Rolfe's review.
Yeah.
And, you know, the Angry Video Game Nerd exaggerates things for comedy's sake, and that has always been true, but he did not paint a very complimentary picture of Castlevania 64. And to be fair, now that I have played both versions of the game, I can confidently say, do not play the original version of this game. It's not as bad as he painted it, and in fact,
and as someone who actually played the whole game, 10 out of 10, no notes.
But don't play the original version, because especially this back half of the game is not good. Honestly, it's better if you're playing as Carrie, because Carrie's levels don't perform as badly. The worst I can say about Carrie is that her original Tower of Sorcery is just kind of bland. But like, she gets the Tower of Science, and I'll talk about that more when we do Carrie's campaign, because it's a level that I have mixed opinions on regarding the original version. But her second half is not terrible. But
dude, why does this fucking? I know, like, we're like 7 parts out of it. Why does this fucking game have to come back?
That was because I jumped at the wrong moment, actually.
Yeah,
I think.
that doesn't answer the question. Why does this game have knockback? It's like, it's 3 games. Come on, man. It's a damn antiquated design of an old age.
Well,
Let it be.
what it normally does is it knocks you down, right? You know, it causes you to stumble and fall on your ass, which is sensible enough for this kind of game. But if you're in the air, it also knocks you back a little, which can be problematic at times. But, you know, a little bit of knockback is often necessary in a platforming challenge, because if you get hit by something and you don't have a long period of invulnerability to get out of it, you'll just stay where you are and keep getting hit by it, which can be, you know, a death sentence.
Oh, but that's invulnerability frames, though. That's not the same as knockback. Like,
yeah, but like if a game designer wants to go light on invulnerability frames, what they have to do is implement some kind of knockback to get you out of the damage zone when you take a hit. So, you know, it's a tough balancing act. But
Or you could just be Mega Man 1 or Sonic 1, where you'd have the knockback and instant death from
you see, I would think in the
falling backwards into pits or spikes.
I would think in the case of, to use this game as an example, something like the fire pillars or the axes have solid hitboxes. So even if they can't damage you, they can still move you. They can still push you.
yeah.
And in a narrow pathway like this, that in itself could be a death sentence because the floor below you is instant death.
Yeah. We're back in the main room, and this is the outer wall that you would be walking around in the original stage. You would be going back and forth between this outer wall and that structure in the middle, which in the original game was still standing and was a massive multi-floor tower with guillotines sliding down through the corners and everything. And I really wish that stage had ran well. Maybe it does, you know, maybe Castlevania 64 vanilla is a lot more fun to play on emulators than it was on the N64. But I'm playing these off actual fucking cartridges, off an actual fucking N64, and, you know, I don't have the benefit of forcing the game to run better than it should.
Or you wind up like Star Fox and make it unplayable.
I kind of had that realization for myself, actually, for it was months ago at the time of this commentary, but for the Brave Phantom Musashi video, you know, I have that game physically, sort of thing, but I tend to emulate games that I have on DuckStation just for the sake of recording on PC.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing. Playing on Brave Phantom Musashi on DuckStation removed all lag, which makes this penultimate boss actually tougher because of the lack of slowdown for the shockwave attacks.
So you have to react to things faster.
I have to actually react to things faster. I was like, I made a mistake.
Oh, time to play the entire game over again.
This is not right.
They didn't ever release Brave Fencer Musashi on PSN, did they?
Only in Japan.
Oh, god damn it. I hate it when they do that.
Same.
Also, I hate it when I fall into lava, which happened at the exact same moment.
I also played, what was it, DK64 via emulation, which removed all the lag, which apparently makes some minigames borderline impossible because you no longer have the lag that was accounted for.
Yeah.
For some minigames designs. Have you guys ever had like another a moment like that where you emulate it and it's like, I'm not used to it running this smoothly?
As mentioned before, Star Fox.
Star Fox. Well, you see, but Star Fox though, at least, are you talking specifically on the SNES or 64?
SNES.
SNES. So see, so the only one I can think of is Star Fox Overclocked, which is not the same as lag reduction. It's more like it's not so much lag reduction as it is the game sped up.
Yeah, I was going to say, the game Overclocked is borderline impossible to play.
Yeah.
I wonder if the NSO version of DK64 accounts for that.
I don't know.
It might. The as far as I know, the NSO emulators were at least the baseline emulator was, I think, designed by M2, and they're good at what they do. And I know, I know the NSO emulator had some issues at launch, but I think they ironed those out.
They at least fixed Ocarina of Time, so.
Yeah, I know since the Virtual Console days, like N64 games have been less laggy because they're no longer limited by the hardware. But even then, we're not talking like Ocarina of Time going from like 20 to 30 frames per second. Okay, well, I'm being way generous. We're not going from 12 to 15. But still, like it's considerably less slow than the original hardware, which can be a detriment in some cases, like the fucking shooting gallery games and the Virtual Console releases are miserable.
Some games tie their gameplay directly to the frame rate, which can cause problems. In the case of Kingdom Hearts, the remasters had issues with that at first, and in more recently, the GOG edition of Blood Omen Legacy of Kain, they based it off a PC port that runs at 40 frames per second, which is significantly lower than the console version. So in order to get the game running at normal speed, you actually have to mod the thing to run at a higher frame rate.
It was a random fucking time for the video to end. I got flashbanged by VLC's media player.
Oh, the traffic cone. The traffic cone jump scare.
No, because when a video is over, and I know this video is over, but bear with me. When my video's over on VLC, it goes back to the playlist window. So it's just bang, white screen, like all over my face.
Oh, man.